From MontanaSports.com, this is MTN Sports Extra.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Sports Extra. I'm Tom Wiley. Thanks for joining us. Well, it's no secret that the WNBA has had a banner year with record high ratings and more recognition than ever before. Now, women's basketball is certainly having a moment, but in Montana, that's nothing new. MTN's Scott Breen has more on some of the top-tier talent that the Treasure State produces in the first of our 6-part MTN Sports series, Play Like a Girl.
Women's basketball has never been more popular with college, Caitlin Clark, WNBA, and of course the rise in ratings. Montana's seen its share of WNBA players, but truth is producing high-quality girls basketball stars is nothing new here in Montana. If there's a mastermind on the subject, it's Robin Selvig.
I credit the growth in Montana to good high school coaching and women finally getting an opportunity.
Selvig's resume with Lady Grizz basketball is an embarrassment of riches. The university's court is named after him. His milestones are mind-blowing, highlighted by over 800 career wins, mostly with homegrown players.
We had a ton of really good Division I players coming out of this state.
These pictures are just of championship teams.
Kevin Wooden is now in his 21st year as women's head coach at MSU Billings after a decade at West High.
Girls basketball was in the fall, and I just remember Coach Selvig at the University of Montana dominating the recruiting for Montana at that time.
What I found, coaching both at Plentywood High School and then here, was given the opportunity, they were going to take full advantage of it.
He always told me that it was much easier for him to, in the fall, get out there and watch those Montana players. So I think that was an advantage. And obviously, he won and won and won.
And it was an exciting time just to watch how fast it grew, especially here at the university.
Make plays.
Like Selvig, Wooden's success has also elevated to the national level, showcasing rosters filled with Montana high school grads.
Over my entire time here, almost 80% of our players have been from Montana, and the small schools, the Class C and the Class B, have been great to us. Some of our best players ever have come from there.
Why is that?
I think there's a built-in work ethic in their communities, and I think they've benefited from some great high school coaching.
Mandy Morales actually played high school ball for Wooden at Billings West before signing with Arizona State.
Mandy would have been a multi-year starter and an all-conference type player, no question, and their coaches told me that.
But her heart was at home, so Morales transferred to UM, escalating to number 10 on the Big Sky Conference's greatest female athlete list in any sport. Debbie Olson-Sevier lives in Glendive. She recalls life as a teammate on West's first girls program in 1975.
I see a lot of progress with allowing girls to be involved in sports in the last, obviously, 50 years.
Now see where it's gone.
Most recently, Brianna Williams comes to mind. The Billings Skyview graduate earned Montana's last 2 Gatorade Girls Player of the Year awards. And as you see now, she wears number 40 for the University of Maryland.
Basketball is basketball, and great effort is great effort, and it's just blossoming, and I hope it continues to grow.
Scott Breen, MTN Sports.
Well, perhaps the rise of women's basketball in Montana is best exemplified by our Big Sky Conference teams. The Montana Lady Grizz are the most successful program in league history, while the Bobcats are in the midst of the best season in program history. Both teams were in action Saturday afternoon. We'll lead off with MTN's Grace Lawrence in Bozeman.
Welcome into Brick Breeden Fieldhouse. I'm MTN Sports' Grace Lawrence. As the Montana State women are riding a 14-game win streak, they're undefeated in conference play and taking on Northern Colorado this afternoon. Let's start off with a forced turnover from Natalie Picton. She hits Esmeralda Morales, who finds Addison Harris for the lay-in. How about this play? A deflection from Lexi Deedon off the referee. Ball still in play, and she finds Morales, who takes it coast to coast for 2. The Cats force 25 turnovers from the Bears this game. Here's another one for Picton. She gets her defender on a pump fake and finds Harris for the layup. This time it's Picton with a Kevin McHale-esque move under the rim. Morales getting the offense in motion. She evaluates and finds Mara Dykstra, who gets the jumper to go. This time, Dykstra returns the favor and finds Morales for a 3-ball. Taylor Chirick dribbling and threads the needle to Picton, who gets the 2 to go. How about a 3 for Chirick as the Bobcats roll to their 15th straight win and remain undefeated in conference play, sweeping the Bears this season. Next week, they're on the road at Idaho State and Weber State. In Bozeman, Grace Lawrence, MTN Sports.
Well, the Montana Lady Grizz were back in action on Saturday afternoon here at Dahlberg Arena, and they had a big test in their way as they hosted the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks, a team sitting at number 2 in the Big Sky Conference standings. Meanwhile, the Lady Grizz sit at number 4, and after losing to NAU down in Flagstaff, we're looking to split the season series on Saturday here in Missoula. The Lady Grizz built an early lead in this one, and here's Matt Koenig with the nice reverse layup to make it 10-9 Montana. Now, Lady Grizz on the fast break, and MJ Bruno gets the 3-pointer to go, and she's fouled as she gets the 4-point play for Montana as they continue to lead. But NAU eventually found their footing thanks in large part to Sophie Glancy and Taylor Feldman as Glancy knocks down the 3-pointer here. Now it's Feldman knocking down the 3-pointer as she finished with 21 points. NAU with a big lead now, and Leah Beatty gets the layup to go to make it a 14-point game. But just before half, Lady Grizz gets some life as Drea Wacker gets the steal, then a few seconds later knocks down the 3-pointer before the buzzer, but NAU leads 51-40 at halftime. The third quarter belonged entirely to the Lumberjacks as they scored 32 points in the quarter. Glancy would finish with 18 points in this one. Tyler McClimate-Call would have 17 points for the Lady Grizz, but in the end, the Lumberjacks showed why they are a force to be reckoned with in the Big Sky Conference as NAU defeats Montana 96-76 in Missoula, making it the most points the Lady Grizz have given up to an opposing team in Dahlberg Arena in the team's history. Reporting in Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
Will Charlton here at Providence's McLaughlin Center, and we are already into the final round of Frontier Conference games. And the Argo women and men welcome in the Rocky Battling Bears for a pair of rubber matches to determine who wins both regular season series. Ladies get things started, and a quick start for the Argos. Ashley Maldonado finds Talia Lee way ahead of the crowd for 2. And Ainsley Thurber cashes in a 3 to build a 16-4 early lead. But here comes Rocky, led by Gracie Leckvold, who is doing it all for the Bears. A turnaround jumper over Thurber, and then a crafty reverse layup for the senior. Check out this sequence for Providence. Kiana Salavea says no, 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 and then Colby Pimperton finds Eliana Ramirez in stride, and that's a tough finish. Maldonado going to work once again, and she'll finish it with the contact. The second half was all Providence after being up 6 at the break, and the Argo women take this one 68-53 to win the regular season series. Men are up and buckle in for a high-scoring affair once again between these two. How about Jesse Owens going coast to coast for the lay? On the other end, Argo AJ Boyd is money for mid-range, and he cashes in this jumper. Nicholas Atanazov shooting a rare triple for himself, and the big man sinks it. Threes keep falling for the Argos. Here's Quinn Swanson knocking it down. And then it's Mike Wright Jr. getting to the hole, and he puts in the layup with the foul. He is hyped up. Dylan Hushaw adds on to the barrage from distance for Providence. Then Boyd will continue to make it rain from downtown. Oh, another made 3? That was the story of the day for the Argos, and it's Wright who made 4 in the game. Providence shot just over 61% from the field and 42% from 3 in this one, and the home team rolls 100-78. And it was John Floyd that got his team to the century mark with this J. Let's take a look at the updated standings with 4 games remaining, starting with the women where Carroll remains on top at 9-2. And then on the men's side, a big upset from Northern over Tech today ties up the Orediggers with the Argos both at 8-3. In Great Falls, Will Charlton, and
Welcome back to MTN Sports Extra, powered by MontanaSports.com.
The Class BC wrestling field will be stacked when the state meet kicks off in Billings on Thursday. But can anyone dethrone 3-time defending champion Huntley Project? MTN's Alec Boffinger takes us to the Eastern BC Divisionals in Warden.
Good evening, folks. Alec Boffinger here in Warden, where it's Championship Saturday, the Eastern BC Divisional Wrestling Tournament, as we count down the days to next weekend's state tournament inside the Big Barn in Billings. Ladies first, and we take a look at Poplar's Nina Escarcega here at 100 pounds. Senior is a 2-time state champion. She'll enter the state tournament as the East top seed. Poplar hoping to chase down a team title on Saturday afternoon. This is Alara Cooper against CJI's Kyra Anderson. And these two put up quite a battle this afternoon, but Cooper the win for Poplar, but the Baker Spartans weren't going to be caught. Here's Kylie Schwartz at 125 against Big Sandy's Harley Labuda. Schwartz able to get the pin as the Spartans win the Eastern BC. On the guys' side, Huntley Project ran away with the divisional title. Pair of teammates here at 110 as Ethan Reynolds dispatches of William Manning. Then we take a look at Blake Raymaker at 132 pounds. Freshman won a title last year as an 8th grader, and he's a divisional champ today as Project takes aim at a 4-peat next weekend. In Warden, Alec Boffinger, MTN Sports.
Hey everyone, MTN's Luke Shelton out here at the Butte Civic Center for the Western BC Wrestling Tournament, and it's Championship Saturday as wrestlers battle for bragging rights and, more importantly, top seeds at next week's state tournament. Let's get to those highlights. Let's start at the boys' 175-pound weight class, and here's Conrad's Chris Graham earning a second-round fall over Florence's Jet Murray, and Graham is looking to become a 2-time state champion in Billings next week. Now let's jump to the girls at 170, and there's Deer Lodge's Mercedes Schinderling pinning Cut Bank's Harley Fetters in just 67 seconds, and she'll head to state as a #1 seed. Back to boys at 190 pounds, and while Conrad's Tegan Jones doesn't get the pin over Deer Lodge's David Chapman, he does earn the tech fall in the second round. Now on to 215, and Jefferson's Brady Armstrong just a force to be reckoned with, and it takes him all of 38 seconds to get the pin over Darby's Eli Spross, and he'll be aiming to end his high school wrestling career as a 2-time state champion. Now on to the big boys at 285, and here's Eureka's Wesley Banks wearing down Whitehall's Ethan Walk, and he'll lock up the fall in 146 and help the Lions earn the team title, while the Anaconda girls roll to the team win. Back to girls at 100 pounds, and there's Jefferson's Emma Jerkovac earning a major decision against Thompson Falls' Veronica Vega, and this reaction shot of Jerkovac was one of my favorite shots of the day. And the All-Class State Wrestling Tournament gets rolling on Thursday in Billings. In Butte, Luke Shelton, MTN Sports.
Beating the odds, a Miles City player continues to make an impact on the hardwood even after having his leg amputated. Sports Extra returns.
Welcome back to MTN Sports Extra, powered by MontanaSports.com.
Playing through pain or injury is oftentimes the trait of great athletes, but what Miles City's Kyler Venable is doing is near miraculous. Venable had his leg amputated a couple years ago, but that hasn't stopped him from becoming a success story on the hardwood for the Cowboys. MTN's Alec Boffinger has more on how he's beating the odds every step of the way.
Sports are the ultimate metaphor for life. The wins and losses, the adversity and triumph. All too often, they intersect. And over the course of the past 3 years, Miles City basketball player Kyler Venable has had his courage and resolve pushed to the limit.
It's been pretty difficult.
It started on July 9th, 2022. Venable was a passenger in a side-by-side off-road vehicle with friends at Fort Peck Lake in northeast Montana when it tipped and rolled. The side-by-side landed on Venable, breaking his right femur above the knee and severely lacerating the skin and muscles below it.
I was in a lot of shock, and I was just thinking like, oh gosh, what happened? Like, what am I gonna do and stuff like that. And good thing that my friends, they went and got some help, and someone put a tourniquet on my leg, and that's what saved my life.
He had stints at both Billings hospitals and was there for about a month, but his leg eventually had to be amputated below the knee. All in all, Venable endured more than 20 surgeries. But that hasn't stopped him from the game he loves. Venable returned to the court this year with a prosthetic, rejoining his teammates on junior varsity while also seeing some time with the varsity squad.
Like running and jumping, I'm pretty good at that. So yeah, defense is probably one of the hardest things. But in practice, my coach, he works me harder and harder every day, and so I've kind of been getting used to it a little bit more. But
when you see Venable laughing and joking in warm-ups prior to a game or running up and down the floor during it, you can tell a part of him has returned.
I missed it so much, and just playing with all my buddies again, it means the world, and basketball is probably one of my favorite sports, so it's great to be back and playing again.
But right before the season started, Venable was dealt another blow. Mom, Serena Venable, a Miles Community College Hall of Fame player herself, and in later years a respected referee, passed away in September after a battle with cancer.
It's pretty tough. She was probably my hero. She's my role model.
Her death is a profound loss for Kyler and his family, but he has dedicated his comeback to his mom.
So everything I did, I look up to her, and she taught me everything I knew. So I just play for her, and everything I do it for her. And
Venable's triumph over turmoil has been an inspiration to many others, especially among his family. Older brother Jaden Venable, not long removed from his own standout sports career in Miles City, can be counted among those who feel renewed by the optimism and belief that Kyler has adopted as he's faced these challenges.
I was always their big inspiration growing up, but like now seeing him go from being in the hospital to walking to running to playing sports, like he's my hero now. Like I'm so proud of him.
No matter what you throw at Venable on the floor, it will pale in comparison to what he's gone through off it. In Miles City, Alec Boffinger, MTN Sports.
Welcome back to MTN Sports Extra, powered by MontanaSports.com.
Montana is in a golden age of distance running, with state records seemingly falling each and every year, both in track and in cross country. And one man is at a front row seat for all of it. MTN's Will Charlton sat down with one of the longest tenured cross country coaches in the state, who recently called it a career.
From a runner at Great Falls High to a cross-country and track coaching tenure of 27 years, Bob Stingley announced his retirement last Friday, January 31st.
I guess a long time when you look at the whole thing of it. It went pretty fast, I'll tell you that. Probably kind of the neatest part is between track and cross country both. I got to coach both my kids, so that was fun, daughter and son both.
Stingley started out with the Bison as a student teacher looking to just help out with the program in which he ran for. And that was the segue into how he got into coaching long term, he said.
And the year I student taught, that was kind of, I think I want to do this for a while. I took over for my old coach, so I worked a couple of years. I worked like 4 years with him, and then switched over in '98, took over head coach, and kind of went from there. And we had some pretty good success right away. Our girls team took state in 2000, and that was pretty neat group of girls there.
Like Stingley mentioned, his girls team won a cross-country state championship very early into his tenure, setting a standard. Although he said it took a little longer for the boys to really get gears turning, but that was until just last year when Stingley led the guys to the title.
When they announced Bozeman in second place, our crew just went crazy. The guys are crying, the girls are crying. I was just laughing because I knew what was up.
But how does one become a coach like Stingley was? And how does he lead his team to the success it had? He gave a jokingly good answer.
If they have a bad race, man, I don't talk to them about their bad race. I'm just like, because they are beating themselves up way more than I'd ever want to. So it's like I guess I'm like the nice old grandpa or whatever now. Yeah, I've kind of gotten to that age. Yeah.
And of course, when you spend so much time of your life at a place, you develop a connection with it. Stingley showed the emotion of what Great Falls High meant to him.
I graduated from here in '77. Some of the guys that are up on, now I'm going to cry. Some of the guys that are up like on our banners and in here, they've been my best friends forever.
And he said that to encapsulate it all, he signed his retirement letter in the only fitting way.
Once a Bison, always a Bison. That is so true. Once you leave here, you never really leave here.
Congratulations to Bob Stingley on 27 impressive and successful years at Great Falls High. Will Charlton, MTN Sports.
And that's all our time for this edition of Sports Extra. As always, the conversation continues online at MontanaSports.com, your source for coverage of the upcoming state wrestling and swimming meets. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week on Sports Extra.